moving on to the Green Bay Packers. They do get Aaron Rodgers back. We've picked them to finish second in the division. Just kicking off with Aaron Rodgers. He finished 5th in points per game last year before the injury. Any real concerns about him whatsoever as long as he stays healthy?
No.
He posted his highest interception rate since he started at 2.5%.
Let's see.
He's on pace for 16 picks last year.
Let's see that trend upward.
That's the only thing I can find bad about him.
And now they brought in Deshaun Kaiser to teach him how to throw more efficiently.
I thought you were going to say they brought in Kaiser to teach him how to throw more interceptions.
That too.
That's where I thought
that was the
going.
joke.
They picked him specifically.
Yeah.
All right, so Rodgers, I assuming, is quarterback 1 for everyone across the board?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have had originally in my way too early rankings. We did back in January. I had him as my 2 behind Wilson, but Wilson lost too many weapons.
Yep.
This Rodgers.
All right. If Deshaun Kaiser got in with a better offensive system and better weapons here,
Nope.
any interest whatsoever?
Nope.
Low end streamer because
I like him more than Brett Hundley.
Yes.
That was going to be kind of my point. He was 26 in points per game last year on a terrible Browns team.
I like him more than Brett Hundley.
I'm sure
Davante Adams will be safe.
I'm sure he can probably support both Graham and Adams because you saw the upside with Njoku last year.
I love Aaron Jones more if that happens.
Same
also true.
here.
All right, I just wanted a quick touch on that just because I thought he'd be an upgrade over Hundley because Hundley was atrocious
How do we
last year.
talk about Kaiser?
I'd be an upgrade over Hundley.
All right, let's move on to the running back trifecta of Aaron Jones, Jamaal Williams, and Ty Montgomery.
Is that a trifecta?
I don't think Ty's going to be a running back anymore.
All right,
I don't know that trifecta is the word I'd use there.
3 bodies.
2.5 men.
2.5 men.
All right, who's your favorite out of those 3?
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Love it. We're all chalk.
So,
Maybe.
and is it because he's got the most upside, and if you're going to hit, you want to actually have it be worth something?
I think he fits better with Rodgers.
He was 2nd versus base front, 5th versus light. He may be their early best option. I think he's got the most Eddie Lacy to him with that big BMI and that ability to run against whatever you put in front of him.
He's 2nd in breakaway run rate, 7.5%. I mean, he's going to take advantage of those opportunities, and he did a lot of his work with Rodgers. I mean,
Shout out player profiler.
Always. We love that website.
So, Jones, I agree. Jones is my 33rd ranked running back, so I got him as
34th.
We're way too close.
We're too chalk.
Hold
ADP
on.
is 709.
I'm wholly unprepared for those rankings.
That's fine. Jamaal Williams is 902.
You got to get yourself some spreadsheets.
I have him. It's in front of me. 37.
All right. Yeah. I mean, and Williams, I think he may actually get the first shot because I think he's the best blocker. But even if he won the job, I'm not sure that I'd care.
I so badly want Jamaal Williams to be good. I really do.
Why?
Because I like his story. I like his work ethic. I like what he's done. I like.
Wasn't he the one who got kicked off the BUI team for drinking?
And he got
Yes.
BYU, and he got,
fitting for this
and it was
podcast.
for drinking and having sex.
Okay. So that's why
Who
you
else
love his
did that?
story.
Wasn't there a basketball player that did that too?
I don't probably.
Yeah, that was
Jimmy
all of
Fredette,
the,
right? No.
Louisville Cardinals. That was all of the Louisville team.
That's right.
Mormons.
I don't think there's Mormons in Kentucky.
Anyway,
No, I'm an owner of Aaron Jones and Ty Montgomery in a dynasty league, and I'm actively trying to get Jamaal Williams just to complete the trifecta. But I'm secretly hoping they move Ty Montgomery back to the slot and just let him run wild.
they need to because I don't believe in Geronimo Allison, and right now I think Jimmy Graham's their 3rd best receiving option.
So do you think they move Cobb outside?
I think Ty plays outside, and I think they just fucking run with Cobb and Ty at times.
They could do that too.
I think so too. And then you let Jamaal Williams and Aaron Jones handle the work. Jamal Williams is a good enough receiver.
I can also see Ty just fucking dying off
Oh.
until I know that sounds bad, but
Sorry, Ty. This is after last year you tagged him as the safest back in fantasy.
And then he got hurt. I mean, first off, he was the safest back until I said it. Then he got hurt.
He was until he wasn't.
He was until he became D.D. Westbrook.
Yikes.
Oh boy, it's brutal.
I know.
Yeah, he was terribly inefficient, but he had all this work. So Dan,
He was a PBR monster, and that's what he'll be playing. So I don't fucking care.
PBR?
A PBR monster.
Giant PBR?
we should start a PBR league.
Uh,
All right. Anything else on the running backs before we move on to the receivers?
No.
All right.
No.
Let's move on to a guy that I seem to be pushing all my chips in this year, and that's Davante Adams.
As you should.
I mean, what else are you supposed to do? He's a lock to be a top 10 running back, I think. Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback. Jordy Nelson's gone.
I mean, he caught 10 touchdowns with Brett Hundley throwing him the ball.
He's my
Just
4.
let that sink in.
Yeah, he's my 5.
What's your 4? He's my 7.
He's my 4.
Yeah, I've been fighting with people on dynasty polls about him, and basically every single trade I see Adams involved in, I'm taking the Adams side, and I'm usually on the losing side of those Twitter polls.
So speaking of Brett Hundley, he gave his quarterbacks a 110.3 QB rating when being targeted.
And Brett Hundley's
That's
QB
fucking
rating was
insane.
like 60.
Yeah, I have
65% contested catch rate, 5th in the league. This guy's a monster.
And Aaron Rodgers is a guy who's consistently supporting 2 receivers at 120 plus
sometimes.
targets, sometimes 3. So I'm not worried about his volume. We know that he's a monster in the red zone. And then the only other person who was in the red zone that was taking his targets away was Jordy Nelson.
Gone.
So you bring in Jimmy Graham, but that doesn't necessarily hurt Adams, I don't think, because they score so freaking much.
Yeah.
They're going to be in the red zone a shit ton.
Yeah, Graham could catch 14 touchdowns, and it wouldn't hurt Adams at all.
Exactly.
See James Jones.
Yes,
With
exactly.
like Jordy Nelson. Just see James Jones.
So yeah, Adams, we all have him top 6.
Yeah.
Or you got him at 7.
I'm at 7. Like
So-
again, this is early rankings. That'll probably change.
So if he's
Maybe.
if he's there in the mid second, you have a steal, take it and run.
A 206 is ADP.
Yeah, take it and run.
Mid second.
Give me.
Just all of it.
All right. So speaking of the fact that they can carry multiple pass catchers to fantasy production, do we like Randall Cobb this year?
Fuck yeah, we do.
He's naturally a lock for 100 plus targets. He puts up wide receiver 2 numbers when he gets that. Over 3 seasons that he's had over 100 targets, he averages 113 targets, 83 receptions, 1,023 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Slightly inflated by 2014, but he's still going to be a wide receiver 2 floor in that back end 2-3 range where you get your Jujus and your Aguilars and those people starting to show up.
And his
And you can get him 4 rounds later because he's going at the 8-12.
Oh, good
He's my wide receiver 34. He was still 7th in the league in yards after the catch, 7th in catch rate at 71.7%.
You give him 40 more targets above what he had last year just because of volume and the offense being better and Jordy not being there.
Is there any concern if they move Ty to the slot? Any concern?
I mean, even if
No.
they move Cobb
No.
outside, I don't know that I care.
I mean, I'm just, yeah, I know. I agree.
I mean, he'd be slightly less ideal, but
The
I think
fact
he'd be
that
fine.
his ADP is 8-12, I think is fantastic, though. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
getting
try to own
the
him.
wide receiver 2 in Green Bay at 8-12.
They're going to
Yeah.
fight for a lot of Randall Cobb shares.
There ain't nobody behind him.
Yeah, when I did my initial rankings, I threw him down at 43. I'm looking at that. I'm like, that's way too low. He's got to go up.
I was probably the same way. I'm moving to 34, and I think I feel pretty good about it there.
I know I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that like that's not right. So
I'll probably keep moving him up.
I got him at 42. You ain't staying there.
yeah, this is
No.
why we do some of these episodes here. Is we kind of look at our rankings, and go, oh,
What the fuck was I smoking?
what was I thinking when I did these? That has to change.
That episode will come later.
Oh,
What the hell's the matter with you?
yeah, those are fun episodes.
Ah.
All right, let's get to everyone else. Geronimo Allison, Jamon Moore, Marquise Valdez Scantling, Equiminius St. Brown. Anybody we like out of these?
Allison's the only one I think in redraft that has any value.
Go ahead,
By
Patrick.
any value, probably not.
Go ahead, Pat.
So I like Jamon Moore. He's 6'5". He's a big guy, good hands, goes up, gets the ball real well. I think he could be a potential red zone guy. But they drafted 3 rookie wide receivers that all kind of fit the same bill. They're all big, tall, strong guys that can go up and get the ball. So if I'm picking one of those 3, I'm picking Jamon Moore. But that's you kind of throw a dart and see what happens, I guess.
Is that mostly a draft capital thing for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and I actually like the way Jamon Moore plays, and I think he's going to be, if he can get on the field and get snaps, he'll be a decent red zone threat.
I think it'll be special teams, and I think out of these 3,
He's at least volunteered or offered to play special teams, unlike ESB, who just wants nothing to do with special teams.
Well, ESB,
I think he gets cut.
ESB's above that.
And he doesn't stretch because cheetahs don't stretch. So
That's right. That's a good point.
that was what his dad told him. We don't stretch because cheetahs don't stretch. Nick's laughing his ass off right now about it.
I have not heard that one.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
All right, let's wrap up the Packers here with Jimmy Graham and Mercedes Lewis. What do we project Graham as?
Tight end.
Good.
I will be the highest.
He fought that real hard.
He did. he
tried
tried last year not to be one.
8.
He's my 4 because touchdown upside.
He'll probably come up. So subtracting Rodgers and his tight end one's injury-riddled seasons, they averaged 69 targets, but when he had Jermichael Finley, averaged about 83. They have no good option at wide receiver 3 currently, so he should be it, especially in the red zone. I personally think he's a lock for 70 plus, and that's going to be good for him because I was looking at it wrong, I think, when they initially made this trade or signed him rather. And I think I was looking at it as, well, they don't use a tight end. I wasn't looking at it as, well, they're going to need somebody for Jordy's targets and Jordy's red zone work.
That's going to be Graham.
And that's going to be Graham.
I think Graham could be a lock for upwards to 90 targets. I think he was misused in Seattle.
He could be.
And this is a high volume offense. Cobb, I think, will play on the inside for majority of the season. I think Graham has a chance.
It happened with Finley twice when they still had Jennings and Driver there.
Yeah. I mean, and I had Graham coming in at 9th, and I'm looking at that. I'm like, that's too low. My concern was that he was going to give you a bunch of duds again and be too red zone reliant. But I'm looking at this like, Aaron Rodgers can't be my number one quarterback, and then he only have one weapon I've ranked so highly. So I got to bump some of his other weapons up, and Graham will be one that probably jumps up to 7 probably.
Yeah, he may go up even slightly higher for me, and it makes me really glad nobody bought him from me.
As I told you,
you talked yourself into it.
I did.
You try to sell.
I did.
He got there, guys. He got there.
Talk myself into it.
He got there.
If you've listened to the podcast, we've been working on that for like a month.
We're there.
Any thoughts on Jimmy Graham there, Pat?
I've got him at tight end 6. Similar numbers to what Jordy put up, last year. Close to 90 targets, a little over 50 catches. Probably score more than 6 touchdowns, but he's, he is probably the second best red zone threat that they have behind Davante Adams.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think he'll probably give you a couple dud games, like
it's a tight end position,
but it's tight end. So
all of them will,
Yeah.
even the top 3.
Yeah.
I give you a couple duds.
All right. Any where do we see the Packers finishing in terms of record?
I say 10-6. My heart says 3-13 because fuck the Packers.
Well, 0-16 if we're going by that metric.
That's true.
Yeah, probably 10-6.
10-6.
Yeah,
Well, I
10
want
and 6.
I want to bump it down to inverse Jeff Fisher, but I can't.
Oh, 7-9.
9-7.
Oh, 9-7.
Inverse
Rodgers
Jeff
is
Fisher.
good for 10 wins, which sucks. Which is why I'm really happy that they mishandled the use of probably
I
the
think
best
it
quarterback
depends
ever.
on how their cornerback draft picks work out too.
That too.
majorly.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough for cornerbacks to transition. So
one of the
I don't
hardest-
expect that defense to be good.
Which means a lot of throwing. Which means a lot of throwing then.
Yep, it's going to be good things for the passing game.